But I want to talk about my favorite topic ever, and that is what prophecies did Jesus actually fulfill?
613 prophecies in the book of Daniel, in the book of Isaiah, in the book of Psalms, in the
Can,
book of Joel, in the
can you
book of Hosea,
can you name
in the
one of
book of
them?
Malachi,
Name
in the
one of
book of
them. Stop
Zechariah.
yapping and name one.
I'm going to Isaiah 53.
This is not going to turn out well for you. Have you read all of Isaiah?
I have.
Okay, and do you know when I say something like first Isaiah and second Isaiah, do you know what that means?
When you imply the number before the book, that implies that there are more than one book, but there's only one book of Isaiah.
That's not what that means. So when I say first Isaiah and second Isaiah and third Isaiah, I'm referring to the section of the text. So the section that I'm referring to is second Isaiah. Specifically is Isaiah 40 all the way to chapter 55. And do you want to know why it's called second Isaiah?
Go ahead and explain.
It's called second Isaiah because it was written 200 years after Isaiah, the first half, was written. So the prior chapters of Isaiah were written before the Assyrian invasion. And the chapters in second Isaiah are written just prior, if not just after, the Persians marched in under the leadership of King Cyrus. So either one of two things is true. Either Isaiah lived for over 200 years, or there were multiple authors. Either way, it doesn't matter to me if he authored it or not. I only bring that up because second Isaiah puts together a very coherent section of text. What is being addressed in second Isaiah is not the same events that are being addressed in first Isaiah. What's being addressed in second Isaiah is the release of the captives from Babylon and how God is going to restore his people after the Babylonian captivity. Also, good to see a good faith, Gary.
Yes.
Glad to be here for a good faith dialectic, as always.
Well, he tried to defend how his God is still good even though he executes virgins innocently.
Of course, yeah.
You're going to have a little
Critique?
bit of that.
Can I get a critique? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, here's one. Here's one if you're listening. Are you listening?
Yeah, we're listening.
Are you listening? Isaiah 54.
Well,
Isaiah 55, verse 8.
Yeah, I'm sure you want to skip ahead.
Your thoughts. No, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord.
That's adorable.
There's
All right, so let's read Isaiah 41. Says, "But you, Israel, my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the offspring of Abraham, my friend." Who's the servant in Isaiah 41, 8 through 9? Just so you know, David, when you angrily flip the pages, we can't hear anything other than page flipping.
I'm not up to speed on the internet yet. I'm still using the original Bible.
That's okay. I'm just saying that your page flipping is loud. Also, Conquistador, thank you for the $5 super chat. Conquist says, why couldn't God make a nice, happy, peaceful prophecy like petting a cow or something? Why is everything revolved around death or something of that kind?
He did. In Psalms, he says that the cow shall lie with the lamb shall lie with the wolf, and the snake and the lion and all of that good junk.
That's Isaiah chapter 2, 11, and Micah 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's
in
peaceful.
Isaiah 41, 8 through 9, who's the servant? It's on the screen right here.
The servant is the people of Israel.
Oh,
the
gotcha.
tribes of
Okay.
Israel.
Gotcha. Okay, so the servant is Israel. Okay, in 43:10 it says, "You are my witnesses," says the Lord, "and my servant who I have chosen." Who's he talking to?
The people of Israel.
Okay, so the people of Israel is the servant. Gotcha. Okay, Isaiah 44:1 says, "But here are now, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I've chosen." Who's the servant here?
The people of Israel.
Oh,
Jacob
gotcha.
and Israel are the same person.
Right. Okay, yeah, okay. "Remember these things, O Jacob and Israel, you are my servant." It's 44:21. So it's still Israel. Okay, 45:4 says, "For the sake of my servant Jacob and Israel my chosen, I call you by your name." So in 45 verse 4, it's Israel, the servant?
It's the same thing, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. 48:20. "Go out from Babylon, flee from Chaldea, declare this with a shout of joy and proclaim it. Send it forth to the ends of the earth and say the Lord has redeemed his servant Jacob." Who's the servant here?
Jacob and Israel are the same person.
Yeah.
He's talking about the tribe of Israel.
Sure. So it almost seems like in second Isaiah, there's a theme building that the servant is the nation of Israel, and God is doing something rather spectacular with the nation of Israel. So when I get to 53, why would I read that the servant is anybody but the nation of Israel when he keeps telling you over and over again that it's not Israel, and it's not a Messiah, it's actually Israel? Why would he just ignore all the context of 2nd Isaiah and just say, oops, now that we're in a new chapter, the servant somehow, his magic identity is now different?
Because that's going to be the new one. That's going to be the new servant.
How do you know?
He's talking about the Messiah.
How do you know? Does it say the Messiah? Because there's only one Messiah ever mentioned in 2nd Isaiah, and his name is Cyrus. The only king, the only Messiah ever mentioned is King Cyrus. Doesn't say anything about King David in 2nd Isaiah, sitting on the throne, nothing of that nature. He is mentioned in Isaiah chapter 11 and chapter 2, though. So Isaiah 53 clearly couldn't be about Jesus when it's about the nation of Israel. Thank you, Evan. I appreciate the drinks and the turkey. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Did you have anything else? Zechariah 9:9, Micah 5:2, Isaiah 7:14, Jeremiah 31:15, Psalm 8:2, Psalm 22:16, Genesis 3:15.
That's talking about Jesus.
Which one?
All of them.
All of them? Let's go to my favorite, one of my favorites here. I love Zechariah 9:9, and Good Faith Gary probably knows this one. Gary, have you ever read a donkey before?
Have I ever rode a donkey? I can't say that I have, no.
I've rode a donkey, and you're about to find out that makes me the Messiah. Because it says, according to Matthew 21, it says that Jesus rode that donkey in order to fulfill what was written by the prophets. And this is what he quoted: "Rejoice greatly, O daughter Zion. Shout aloud, O daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, triumphant and victorious is he, humble, and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. He will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the war horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow will be cut off, and he shall command peace to the nations. And his dominion shall be from sea to sea, from the river to the ends of the earth." Was Jesus a victorious king who cut off all war from Ephraim and Israel?
Yes.
Oh, I'd love to see the citation for that. Please show me where Jesus was an actual king that ended all war in Israel.
Yeah, I'm dying to know the verse.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's got the name Yeshua in his screen, so maybe he knows more than I do. Maybe there's like a special Hebrew translation.
You're thinking of the literal war. A literal war between Ephraim and
it's
Israel.
figurative. Oh, there's not a war.
That hasn't happened yet.
Okay, so then the prophecy's not fulfilled. So Matthew lied.
The prophecy will be fulfilled.
But it wasn't fulfilled, which means Matthew lied.
No, just that part. He's talking about 9.
Oh, the part about riding the donkey was fulfilled.
Yes.
Oh, shit. I told you I'm the Messiah. I rode a donkey. I've, in fact, rode a donkey twice. That makes me the Messiah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Cool. I didn't need any worship, but since you're here,
blasphemy.
David, I
That's blasphemy.
wouldn't stop you if you prayed to me right now. You're welcome to pray to me, though. I can't guarantee that I'll answer your prayer because I work in mysterious ways, though. Emer, thank you for the glasses.
I pray to God and God alone.
I'm sure you do. All right, let's look at another lie from the New Testament. One of my favorites is Jeremiah 31, and Jeremiah 31:15 doesn't get a lot of love.
That's the Old Testament. That's the Old Testament.
That's where the prophecies come from.
Okay.
It's quoted in Matthew chapter 2, verse 28. You can test my memory on that. I'm pretty sure that's where it's at. So it says in Matthew chapter 2, verse 28, that the women were weeping over all the children that were executed in and around Bethlehem in order to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet Jeremiah. And then it quotes Jeremiah 31:15, says, "Thus saith the Lord, a voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel is weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children because they are no more. Thus saith the Lord, keep your voice from weeping, your eyes from tears, for there is reward for your work, says the Lord. They shall come back from the land of the enemy." Oops. Jeremiah is writing just prior to the Babylonian invasion in 605, and he's comforting the mothers that are about to watch their children get exiled, saying, you don't have to cry, they're going to come back. And you know in Jeremiah, as well as I do, that they were only supposed to be gone for 70 years, and then they were going to come back. That's the whole crux of the Jeremiah prophecy. So this is not about a Messiah whatsoever. This is about the Jewish people going into exile and comforting the weeping mothers. So I'm like really trying to figure out how these dead babies in Bethlehem fulfilled this prophecy when this prophecy had nothing to do with dead babies during the time of the Messiah.
You're speaking about when Herod came and he killed all of the children under the age of 2 in Bethlehem in the region of Judea.
That's what it says.
And that's where they got the context from, yes.
Yeah, but the context of the prophecy is not about the Messiah or about Bethlehem. It's about the women watching their children going into the Babylonian exile and being comforted that they're going to come back. Nothing to do with the Messiah. So, again, Matthew's a liar.
No.
Oh, okay. It's wrong, but he's not a liar. Matthew just made a mistake. His reading's not so good.
Have you considered no?
Actually, the retort that I get, and it's a very effective one. The retort I get the most is nuh-uh. Also, Claudia, thank you for the 666. Big W, Claudia. I appreciate the 666. Also, Kayla, thank you for the $5. Kayla says, "Hail Lilith, the wife of Adam, first wife of Adam, great mother, and the succubi." Yeah, I think it's succubus, depending which language you're in. Succubi would be plural in Latin, but that's neither here nor there. So I want to read perhaps another prophecy that you might have heard. And I want your take on it. This is Hosea chapter 11. Oh, I forgot my 11. There we go. "When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. And the more that I called them, the more that they went from me, and they kept sacrificing to the Baals and offering incense to idols." Is this a history about the Exodus? Is that what's happening here?
No.
Oh, no. So this is when God said in Exodus 4:22 that Israel is my firstborn son, and he's freeing them from Egypt. That's not what this is referring to?
No.
Exodus 4:22, you shall say to Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my firstborn son. That's what's obviously happening here. Yeah, Flanker 420, it's the classic Christian defense. No. Okay, so clearly Hosea is referencing Exodus 4:22, when the firstborn son of God left Egypt. When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. And then what happened after they left Egypt? Do you remember?
They wandered the wilderness for 40 years.
Yeah, and they built a calf. They worshipped idols, which is why it says, the more that I called them, the more that they went from me, and they kept sacrificing to the Baals and offering incense to idols, which describes exactly what they did. Okay? So this is just history. There's no prophecy here.
I'm guessing that was the way that Matthew interpreted it.
Matthew just looked at anything he could find in the Old Testament that sounded vaguely familiar to Jesus, and then he just called it a prophecy. But as it turns out, telling the story of the Exodus is not a prophecy. That's called history. Matthew is the worst exegete on the planet ever. In fact, I had a professor in Bible college that joked that if you turn in an exegesis paper that uses the same level of exegesis as the New Testament authors, you will get an F. That's how bad the New Testament authors exegeted the Old Testament, that even Christian professors know how bad it is.
I agree.
So again, we've got a big problem that Matthew keeps telling lies.
But how does that relate to Jesus and God telling lies?
Because if
those are
is the
authors
book
who
from
took it
God?
upon themselves.
Did God inspire Matthew to say true things or false things?
The New Testament is not inspired by God.
Oh, shit. The New Testament's not
authors of
inspired
the
by
New-
God.